This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
The green flag is waving. Welcome back, everybody. Wyatt is having way too much fun with the green flag. Welcome in, Gone Racin, of course. Brendan Gaughan hanging out in studio this week, where, of course, last week I was not in studio. I wasn't even here. And then Mr. Motley this week, you are at, it seems like your second home nowadays, out at wine country, having a little wine and cheese with your NASCAR.
Yeah, except I haven't had any wine and cheese. It's a lot of work to be done out here. It's like you and I don't like to see each other. I'm in there last week. You're gone. Now you're in there. I'm gone. And Nashville race, I'm gone. You'll be in there, I guess. So.
Hey, listen, we're professionally unprofessional. We get it done. We show up when we can. Last week I was down in Mexico racing. Race sucked, but I had Rylan with me and had a great time with my son. Wyatt saw some pictures today. So it was worth it for me, even though the race went bad, to have my 10-year-old at his first time in the Baja 500 with me. Even had him in the race car, Motley, driving up the racetrack at the end of the day because it was a bad day. So let him ride home with me as we were doing the limp of shame home. But we don't talk about my race, and we're talking about last week we had Gateway. I'll tell you what. All right, long race, Coke 600 part due, but lightning strikes, all those things. Amazing race, though. Good racetrack for it. Had a few problems, but Kyle Busch, the RCR cars, both RCR cars were running great. Austin versus Austin, became an issue, but great race. Ton of fun to watch. I mean, watching that shifting and the double shifting and all the guys with these sequentials, it was an enjoyable race. Maybe a little issue with the brake package, but I think that was team inflicted, if you want the truth, with the brake ducts being taped up. Well,
you got 36 cars in the race, yet 4 of them have a problem with the brake. So 32 guys didn't have any brake problems at all. So I don't really know if that was a big deal. It's 2 years in a row we've raced out there at Gateway, and 2 years in a row we have had exciting races. You're right. You had the lightning delay, then you had a wall repair delay. So it did kind of turn into the 24 hours of St. Louis. But Kyle Busch, 3 wins equals William Byron for most wins on the circuit this year. And, we kind of were saying it was the Willie and Kyle show, but it's a Willie, Kyle, and Kyle show, I think, now.
Well, and we've talked about the start of the season. How many wins would Kyle Busch get? Kyle Busch what did Reddick have last year? I think he had 3 all of last year. Reddick did. And so he's already matched what Reddick did. Reddick's were on road courses, of course. That was his main, couple wins. But Kyle Busch, Richard, you know what? I heard a funny stat on Larry McReynolds talked about it. Do you know what the anniversary of the St. Louis, the Gateway win? Do you know what it was to the day, what that was the same day of?
No, I don't know.
That was to the day, the anniversary of Hold My Watch.
No way.
Swear to goodness. That Larry McReynolds said it was to the day of the Hold My Watch incident. For those regular NASCAR fans, you understand what we're talking about. But how about Richard Childress? But, even Austin Dillon, having the guts to, a lot of times, look, a guy like an Austin, does he really want to have a guy like Kyle Busch there who could possibly make him, overshadow him a little bit and make people kind of nip in the ear? I think it's a brilliant move. Great job, Kyle Busch. He's got to be loving what he's doing after the season he had last year. He is fantastic right now.
Well, you're right. And, somebody's ringing. Wow. How about that? Brendan forgot to turn his ringer off today. It's not even Brendan ringing. Nobody knows who's ringing. It's not me ringing. Anyway, we have a ringer.
This is my son's computer. This is my son's computer and find my alert.
Professionally unprofessional.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. I'm like, what is going on? I look at the screen. It says find my computer alert, and it's going.
Barney the dinosaur just went galloping across the screen.
That's funny.
Did you not tell me you're taking his computer?
Apparently I did not. So in the break, I'm going to have to call my son and text him and say, hey, I have your computer. That's really funny. Yeah, we're all looking at each other going, what's that? Oh, yeah, it's on my screen. Wow, our show. Only our show, Motley.
You said it earlier. Professionally unprofessional. Oh, that's great.
We have more fun than most people. All right.
Back to what you're saying, I thought about bringing it something, and I know you and Austin Dillon are buddies. He's kind of like a little brother to you, but you're right. You have to wonder with the success that Kyle Busch is having immediately over there. That's got to be a little bit tough for Austin. I mean, he also is invested in that team. I mean, he's going to be the owner of that team one day. I think we're all pretty certain of that. So I can understand why he's happy for the success, but his own personal shortcomings compared to Kyle Busch has got to be a little tough.
No, but see, that's what I think I got to applaud here is that, I mean, that it was a tough decision. And right now, Kyle Busch coming over, best business decision he could make. And Austin is a part of that decision. And look at how well it's paying off. And for him, it's just going to make him have to get better. And he will, and Austin will step up. But Kyle, we said this about Brett Keselowski in the last year. We've said this about Kurt Busch going over to 2311. Guys like that elevate a race team. And I think Austin did it for a reason. And Austin's performance, okay, he has not had the finishes, but he has run much better. And he will be better in the end because of this. So I'm excited. Really neat to see, of course, you and me, the Vegas boy, Kyle Busch, having the Bushes win. Let's talk about what he paid to win, though. Kyle Busch was a double-digit, if you can believe that, double-digit to win the race, 11-1. He was top 3 was 320. You want to talk about great odds for Kyle Busch that you don't normally get. Those are two great numbers. He was the dog in Group C at 285. In Group C, by the way, I mean, Kyle Busch in Group C, that should have been, all of us should have looked at that and went, wow, Kyle Busch, Group C. And then the Chevy, of course, plus 110. Chevys are absolutely the class of the field. Little piece of news, there was a tire changer that was hurt when they car slid in. He is back home already. Just want everybody to know. Joe Gibbs Racing Crew teams. Who was it? Thomas Hatcher. Well, Tommy.
No, Eric Jones. It was a rough week for the Legacy Motor Club.
Yes, and then their big fine at Legacy Motor Club. Listen, the Legacy Motor Club is just trying to do whatever they can to finish this season out. And their lame duck Chevrolet team. I think it was poor timing on their part to announce it this early, but whatever, it's there. And
also glad our buddy Noah Gregson's okay, because if you saw his hit,
it was a good hit.
Probably as hard a hit as we've seen all year long.
I think people could say the same thing about me and Noah that we used to say. We don't have enough up there to hurt, so that's why those wall shots don't affect us quite as bad as anybody else. Let's talk about the top 10. Of course, we had Kyle Busch 11-1, 320. We got Denny Hamlin was a plus 300. I mean, once again, a great return on a Denny Hamlin top 3 bet. Joey Logano plus 320. The cream rose to the top. Kyle Larson, Martin Truex, Ryan Blaney, and then Daniel Suarez, with a much-needed good run. And then Michael McDowell, 9th place right there. Great run for McDowell. Great strategy move at the end of the race. But all plus 300 guys for top 3s. That's a good return.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, seeing some of those numbers there. And, the last 2 or 3 weeks, Suarez has kind of been outrunning his teammate Chastain, which has been a little surprising to me. It'll be very interesting to see this weekend with Suarez coming back to the site of his only career win, too.
Nope, that's going to be a big one. Will Justin Marks say, okay, go back at it, Ross Chastain. You haven't been running well since we kind of put the handcuffs on you. Maybe he lets him back go again and deals with the pressure from that side. I mean, could that have something to do with it, Jeff?
Well, it certainly could. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I got to believe at some point some of that starts weighing on Ross a little bit. Ross had a poor run at Gateway. He was leading the overall point standings going into Gateway. I think he came out of it in like 6th or something. He lost that many spots. So
5th, I think, is what I counted. Let's talk about that. Here's the season standings real quick. Now we have William Byron with 3 wins and Kyle Busch with 3 wins. They both lead the playoff standings. You got Larson in there. Blaney, the guy we've been joking about all season, gets the Coke 600 win, but there he is with his win, getting himself kind of locked in. How about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. still holding strong? Even with that bad race he had that week, the Daytona win doesn't hurt him, but he's still holding strong in there. And then, of course, the cutoff line. Man, is this getting to be a crowded group, and it's going to keep getting more and more crowded because you got to figure that Chase Elliott's probably going to win at some point and knock one of these guys down. You got to figure that Austin Dillon probably has a good shot to win. A couple of these guys, McDowell still holding tough. Great names. Ty Gibbs in his rookie season right near that cut line. A lot of great names there. Alex Bowman's still on the outside looking in. So this cut line we're going to start focusing on more and more and more as we roll down this regular season.
Well, and I think you're right about the Chase Elliott thing kind of is the big outlier there. I mean, if Chase Elliott gets a win, then clearly this whole thing really gets jumbled because if you look at it, it's a little bit of a drop-off between 15 and 16 between Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez. So if we do get a Chase Elliott or Austin Dillon or someone that's outside that top 16 gets a win, there's a lot of guys that are going to start getting nervous.
Yep. Let's talk about what we got coming up. We got, of course, this weekend, Mr. Motley, you are at Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350. Have fun at the Hall of Fame banquet tonight, by the way. 2 of our buddies, Harvick and Kurt Busch, getting inducted.
And Matt Crafton.
And Matty C, that's right. Matty Crafton in there. A couple others, but those are the 3 that, of course, West Coast guys that we love, old friends of mine, so got to give a shout-out to them. Ally 400 in Nashville, Tennessee, Grant Park 220, the first ever street course, or maybe not the first ever, but first I know of, street course race in Chicago. Going to be kind of a lot of fun. Then we head out back to the restrictor plate race, the super speedway race of the Atlanta, the Quake State 400, and then the Crayon 301. I've wanted Crayola to be part of our sport for 20 years, and they finally are coming in as a race sponsor. I'm really excited about that.
And I have to break your heart, Brendan, and tell you that has nothing to do with Crayola
It's
crayons. That is a business-to-business venture. It is no. I'm sorry. There'll be no color-coded drawing on the start-finish line or anything like that.
Crayola could have the greatest marketing campaign ever in a race.
So you're going to have to tell your kid that too while you call him to get your computer fixed.
So why is it the Crayon 301?
It's a B2B company that they've done a sponsorship.
Oh, so it's not Crayola Crayon. It's just a company named Crayon.
Yes.
Well, that's a horrible name then. If you're not crayons, then you're what? Never mind.
Brent, this just ruined Brendan's day.
Yeah, no, I'm junk now. I was all excited about it finally being Crayola crayons, and no, he would know he's SMI. That's Loudon, so boo on Crayola.
We're even doing a crayon business breakfast here this weekend.
With Crayola?
No, there's no coloring books being passed out.
All right. Sonoma Raceway, of course, our first road course, not our first of the season, but our road course, back on the road racing deal, 12 turns. No stage breaks anymore, remember. No stage breaks. They run straight through. Daniel Suarez. They get stage points, but no breaks. So when we come back, we'll get into who's been hot and not around this track and get into the odds to start winning. Let's get to the business part of the show.
This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And once again, the green flag is back in the air. Professionally unprofessional, Gone Racin, Jeff Motley in Sonoma, Brendan Gaughan here in studio. And Mr. Motley, we were talking during the break. We're going to give some stats here, some Sonoma Raceway track records, and there are some good ones here. But this is going to be Kevin Harvick's last race in his home state.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's going to be kind of a big deal for him. You know, he's talked about it a little bit, this being his final year, moving into the Fox booth, and I think there's some special meaning going into this race. You know, this was always kind of in his mind a little bit of his home
It's
track.
his home track, absolutely.
Yeah, he felt much more of a connection to Sonoma than he did at Fontana, I guess, maybe because Fontana also opened up after he'd really kind of started his career, where Sonoma, you know, been racing here in the Cup Series since the 1980s. So a pretty big weekend coming up for Kevin. Going to be a little surprise for him from the State Assembly on Sunday during pre-race. And also we're going to be inducting him into the Wall of Fame here at Sonoma Raceway as well.
That's awesome.
This is the best show this week.
And I am clueless to what you guys are laughing about.
Somebody walked in behind you. They left the door
behind
open.
me?
Yeah.
Despite me telling them, do not open the door and come in? Uh-huh.
They were changing I think they wanted it cooler in the room.
I think he looked at us like, oh, God, I'm in trouble, so I'm going to act like I'm doing something.
Oh, yeah, they're supposed to be guarding the door for me, but clearly I guess I'm going to be Abe Lincoln before the show is over with.
Professionally unprofessional, right? We have the best. I don't care if you're Denny Hamlin. I don't care Dale Jr. We have more fun, I promise.
I'm firing the Secret Service that's supposed to protect me back there.
They might be letting it happen. Let's talk about the guys that have done well up here, though. And we mentioned Kevin Harvick. He's got 21 races in Cup at this racetrack, 11 top 10s, so 50% top 10. Got a great record there, 7 top 5s. But there's some names here. Kyle Busch, 2 wins and 8 top 10s. A lot of guys, good. And then some guys, Denny Hamlin, 7 top 10s, no wins at this track. Michael McDowell, only the 1 top 5. And we talk about Michael being such a great road racer. So we kind of, don't expect that. But Chase Elliott, not the racetrack. Remember, he dominated the road courses a couple years ago. He's got 4 top 10s in 6 races, but no wins at this track.
You're right. He doesn't have any wins here. But I also, on the Chase Elliott front here, I believe he needs a really good run at Sonoma to really feel like he's got any chance of making the playoffs. I'm not saying he has to win, but I think we got to look at Chase Elliott right now and say he's got 4 road courses left in this regular season. He's got Sonoma. He's got a street race in Chicago. He's got Indianapolis. He's got Watkins Glen. And he's been so good on road courses over the years. I think he's got to prove that at least he's running well there because, quite frankly, since he came back, he really hasn't been that strong. He even admitted this week during an interview with the media talking about the suspension last week that this has just been a weird season. He hasn't really felt like he's been in a groove at any point this season. I'm telling you, time's starting to run out.
Well, and look, this is not the one he's won on, but you got to figure that he's been looking at the road courses when he came back because you're right. He is not. He's in a position that do you think he can make up points and point his way in, or do you think he has to win to get in is the question. You know, I'm looking at the points. He's got, where is Chase Elliott? He's 215 points. He's 100 points behind the cut line. I don't think he can do that in 10 races.
Well, not only is he 100 points behind the cut line, but you're counting on that cut line not moving.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. We get a couple of winners, that cut line is going to move even farther away. Yeah, it's like the goalpost is getting farther away from him. So, no, I think he has to win. I think in his mind he realizes he has to win. And I think it really needs to start with at least a good run at Sonoma. Again, I'm not saying he has to win, but if he comes out and runs between 10th and 15th or even between 8th and 12th, I don't think that's going to cut it. And I think that's going to put some doubt in the mind of that whole race team.
Well, let's get to the odds to win this race and to kick off the leader in the clubhouse. How about that? Now, I don't doubt this one, but Tyler Reddick is your favorite on the odds at plus 450. Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott are both 500s. William Byron 850. Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch 900s. Then a massive drop, and I mean massive drop. 16-1. Daniel Suarez, last year's winner. AJ Allmendinger, the perennial one of our favorites on road courses. 16-1, both of them. Austin Cindric, 18. Chris Buescher, 20. Kevin Harvick, Christopher Bell, 25. Alex Bowman, 28. Martin Truex Jr., 30. Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, 35. Jeff, there are some amazing numbers here on amazing road racers. Like this has me perplexed a little bit. The numbers on a couple of these road racers that are so high.
Well, I think number one, with Suarez being the defending champion, I don't think he's getting a lot of respect. Nope. But I'm going to tell you something about AJ Allmendinger. I think that for so many years, every time AJ ran a road race, AJ was like the guy to beat out there. But we put so many road course races on the schedule now that all of these world-class drivers have got so many races and so many laps on these road courses. I think AJ was as good as AJ was going to get, and I think these other guys have caught up to AJ. I don't think he's lost it. I just think these guys have caught up to him. Well,
and the other thing is, and I've said this, and I know you and Marcus Smith really dislike it when I say this, but this is the most NASCAR-ized track of the road course circuit, and that does not play into AJ's favor. AJ does it's better when he's at the COTA. He's better when he's at Road America. He's better when he's at these road courses that are much more technically demanding. So this is not one of his. And I'm looking his stats, Jeff. He's got 7 starts here, only 1 top 10. So this is not the track for AJ, even though it's 16-1. But how about Martin Truex Jr. 30-1? I mean, Ryan Blaney 35-1. Chris Buescher finished second, 20-1. I mean, there's some, and like you said, the winner 16-1, last year's winner.
Yeah, and it's funny though, around here, before these odds ever came out, somebody asked me on Monday, who's your guy you think's going to win? I said Tyler Reddick. Yeah. A lot of people around here, Tyler Reddick. And here he comes in, he's the favorite, plus 450. I think Tyler Reddick also knows this is a great opportunity when it comes to the playoffs too.
Yeah, he can gain some playoff points here. Let's get to the second page here, and we start off with Denny Hamlin is 40-1 with Brad Keselowski 40, Michael McDowell 45, Chase Briscoe 50, Ty Gibbs 55, long shots now 100-1, Justin Haley, Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace. Ryan Preece 250, Austin Dillon 250. It's a lot of names that I don't think I expect us to see surprising us that far in this world. But stranger things have happened. But I look at this and I go, is this a place that Chase Briscoe can kind of fix this season a little bit? Can Stuart Haas, is this the track that he does that? Chase is a hell of a road racer. Is this where maybe Chase Briscoe can help that team out where they've been struggling so bad, Jeff?
Well, he did win the ARCA race here in Sonoma last year, so that had to give him a little bit of confidence. That race team, like you said, though, it has just struggled so mightily. I mean, Harvick's obviously been the best car in the group. Heck, Ryan Preece has probably been the next best car. He just hasn't always had the finishes. This year for Briscoe has been somewhat of a nightmare. So this would be kind of like a walk-off home run for Briscoe if he could pull it off. But I just don't see it. I think he's a very capable driver, but I'm just not so sure the equipment under him. And you mentioned the fact Sonoma Raceway is a high-speed road course. It's not a sharp turn road course with the exception of turn 11. I just don't think this plays very well into Briscoe's hands.
I like how he changed that to a positive of what I was saying. Positive. It's a high-speed road course.
It's a high-speed road course. That's what it is. You don't agree? It is high speed.
It is very high speed. That is right.
And Watkins Glen used to be pretty high speed until they put the bus stop in down the back straightaway.
And it's still NASCArized just as this one.
Well, they could put the boot back.
Oh, they need and you guys took the carousel back out. I'm still mad at you for that.
Yeah. Okay, guess what? The fans can't even see the carousel. Nobody ever passed in the carousel. And the most exciting part of the track is turn 11. And with the carousel out, we get more trips through turn 11. Guess what, Brendan? You're not a paying race fan. When's the last time you bought a ticket to go sit in the stand?
I buy tickets at Las Vegas Motor Speed. Let's go to the top threes now.
I was going to say, I'm gonna start forwarding all of my texts from you.
Let's go to the top threes before I burn my bridge at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway and I start buying tickets. Ticketmaster right here. Tyler Reddick is the top three favorite, of course. He was to win the race. He's 130. Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, 140s. Now, this ain't bad numbers for top three. William Byron, 250. Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, 275. Daniel Suarez, 450 with the dinger there with him. Austin Cindric, 5. Chris Buescher, 550. Kevin Harvick, 6. Christopher Bell, 700. Alex Bowman, 800. Martin Truex Jr., 850. Blaney and Joey Logano, 900s. Jeff, for a top three, I like half this page for a top three. I mean, this is some great numbers here. Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex, both of them huge. Daniel Suarez, your winner. Kyle Busch. I can't pick one right now.
I'm with you because I look at those guys at the top. Okay, one or two of them maybe, but somebody else is going to come in there and get a top three that's plus 450 or better, I think. I just think you're right. This is a good opportunity to take some runs on some top threes.
And on the second page, Denny Hamlin lead and Brad Keselowski, Michael McDowell, all 10, Chase Briscoe, 11, Ty Gibbs, 14, Haley Jones, Bubba Wallace, 22, the others, 60 plus 1. Ty Gibbs, hell of a road racer in Xfinity. What do you think? Running well. I mean, he's not running bad.
No, it's going to be a little different experience here in that big, that new car, though, and I'm not so sure.
Kind of there. I don't know. I like it. I like a lot of numbers on that first page. All right, when we come back, we'll get to our head-to-heads. Yellow flag is out. Wyatt's waving it, and we'll be back with head-to-heads.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Welcome back in, everybody. Gone Racing. We're getting closer to the part of the show that I'm supposed to be reading my podcast read, not talking about welcoming back in, because you want to rewatch any part of today's show or any past show, check out the Gone Racing podcast. It's free and available now at vsin.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. Give you the latest news, odds, and everything you need to know to head straight to the betting counter before each and every NASCAR race. While you're there, catch up on all the other great VSiN shows as well. vsin.com/podcast. None of them are as good or professionally unprofessional as Gone Racing.
You know who I'm disappointed in is Wyatt, because when you started screwing up forgetting to read the promo, he didn't throw the black flag. You really should have thrown the black flag.
He was waving the flag, and I started, and I looked up, and he's looking at me with just this look of dejection, like, you suck. And I'm like,
no,
oh.
you know. But I will say, these flags are amazing. I'm having so much fun with this. Like, this is the best thing that we've got here at VSiN.
All right, I like it. We got the coolest helmet, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, yes.
It's not like a football helmet. We got a cool helmet.
You don't get to see it this week because when we're both not in the studio, they don't ever show the helmet.
It's not a two-shot. But there it is. Oh, we got big fella side.
Two
sides.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
There's the big fella and there's grandpa. So
I recognize that man.
I've seen him once or twice. But anyway, let's get back to what we do, and let's try to cash some tickets here. And we have the head-to-heads, and this year the head-to-heads have been killing it for me. Been really doing well this year picking these head-to-head battles. I mean, come on, it's 50-50, right? Man versus man. And we have some amazing returns right here with drivers that are amazing drivers. Let's kick off right off the bat. I mean, Kyle Larson plus 120. Kyle Larson is a hell of a road racer. And Kyle Larson is plus 120 versus, I get it, Chase Elliott, but we've just said Chase Elliott not having the season that he likes. So that's a big one. Ross Chastain, 140. I mean, there is some amazing numbers here, Jeff.
I'm blown away by some of these. And I don't know where the infatuation is with Chase Elliott right now. I mean, what have you done for me lately? All these guys, I mean, Larson's 120, Kyle Busch is 130, Ross Chastain is 140 against Chase Elliott. Come on now.
I mean, look, do the don't line. You can make some money. And, I don't ever say the don't line. I don't want to go all the way. But Chase Elliott is absolutely some huge returns to bet against him. How about Christopher Bell plus 110? I get that Chris Buescher had that second place run here, but C-Bell has been, a strong road racer too. Remember, he won the inaugural Daytona road course a couple years ago. I mean, there's AJ Allmendinger's a plus 105, even though I just gave you the stats on him for Sonoma. Big numbers here in the head-to-heads.
Oh, no, it's unbelievable. And I just, I don't know. I think it's pretty exciting this weekend. I don't bet a lot of head-to-heads, but I may definitely be on the head-to-heads this week.
I might have to cancel a couple of these top threes and jump a few more in the head-to-heads. Now, let's get into our favorite part of the show, which is, of course, the group matchups. And, Jeff, we were talking off air. There is some awesome group matchups here today, some big numbers. Group A leads off with Chase Elliott, your favorite, at 210, Tyler Reddick, 220. Kyle Larson is 300, and Ross Chastain is 420. Wow, you want to talk about enticement. Ross Chastain at 420. Here's a guy that won COTA. Here's a guy that's been, last 10 road races, 4 wins, 3 top 5s, or 4 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a win in the last 10 races on road courses. This is that 420 plus 420.
It's crazy. And Kyle Larson at 300. I mean, wow. Woo, baby.
Yeah,
let's go bet Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain and hope for the worst for Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick.
And Ross Chastain, he's got 2 7th-place finishes here. It's not like he's had, he's awful here. He's had the last 2 races 7th and 7th. So, I mean, that's a you want to talk about enticement? That is absolutely staring at me in the face, going, entice me.
I know. The only thing that scares me about this is I really think Tyler Reddick's going to win the race, and that's the only thing that's keeping me away from this group.
And then take Tyler Reddick to win at 450 and take Ross Chastain at 420, and you've got a massive, hedge that you're just not rooting for Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott.
And then you know what happens to me? Reddick finishes second and Chastain finishes third.
Okay, that's funny. Let's get into Group B. Group B has Kyle Busch 255, William Byron 255, the Dinger 280, and Austin Cindric at 300. This to me is probably the toughest one to handicap. Byron, not super high on Byron on the road races. I think he's there because what he has done for us lately, right? Byron has been pretty amazing, but only 1 top 10 in 4 races at Sonoma. And overall, he's only got 3 top 10s and 10 races on the road courses in the last. So I kind of can take him out, but the other 3, if you can take out Dinger from the stats I gave, then it's a Cindric and Busch battle, and I like Kyle Busch.
I like Kyle Busch a lot right here. And, if he was a favorite in this group, getting 185, even 210, maybe not, 255, pretty good number to be the favorite in a group where I think he should be a decided favorite. Maybe William Byron, his road course prowess, maybe he starts feeling it there like he's been racing well everywhere else, but really like me some Kyle Busch here.
Yeah, 6 top 10s last 10 races at Sonoma, not just road racing, at Sonoma. So I do like that one. I do agree. Group C, Daniel Suarez, last year's winner, your favorite at 205. Chris Buescher, 245. Blaney, 335. And Bell, 335. Here's another one that has, Suarez is your odds-on favorite, but Blaney and Bell, both very, very accomplished road racers sitting there with big numbers. Is it enticement enough?
Well, and last time I checked, Chris Buescher's been running pretty well on road courses. Last year, he did a terrific job, had a great run here in Sonoma last year. I think this is a really, really tough group to pick. I think maybe seeing Christopher Bell sitting down there along with Ryan Blaney with such big numbers is very enticing. I know Suarez won here last year, but I'm not really looking at him going for 2 in a row. So I kind of like those big numbers on Blaney and Bell.
Yeah, you're ready for this stat. Chris Buescher, last 10 road races, 7 top 10s. Average finish, 9.4.
And finished well. And I think he ran really well at Sonoma last year.
Finished second last year at Sonoma. So I mean, that's just looking at those numbers. This is a tough group for me because you do have the winner. You got Buescher, you got Blaney and Bell. I like everybody in this group. This is the group that I got to stay away from because I kind of like each one of them, and the 330s aren't enticement enough because I do like all the guys for certain reasons.
Well, and by the way, I think one thing we ought to point out to people, this is a very, very important track where people should wait until after qualifying before they put their bets in. We have to make our picks today, but Sonoma is definitely a track where qualifying is extremely important.
Yes, and once again, we tell you guys that all the time. We give you all these things. Part of the reasons why some of our numbers are so bad in the Gone Racin League, right? We're sitting here making these bets on Thursday morning when it's super early odds. We get some of the books, the Westgate, thank you to them for always putting odds up early for us to get these done. And so it's difficult. Watch qualifying, watch the little practice, see where these guys are, because I promise you, if we had that knowledge and we did this show Saturday afternoon after all that, our picks would probably be different many, many times.
Absolutely.
Let's get into Group D. In Group D, you've got Chase Briscoe, your favorite. Co-favorites, actually, 3 of them. Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, all 270. Brad Keselowski, 275. Really tight group here, and also stats show really tight. I mean, Logano, pretty good road racer, been doing pretty well. Brad Keselowski has done very well on road courses. Each one of these guys, it's very hard to differentiate between for me.
How funny is it that every single week there's that one group where I just say, not touching it, not going near. There always is one.
Yep.
Guess what? It's Group D this week for me.
Well, see, Group C for me is one that I would say, okay, I don't want to touch because I like all the guys for a reason, right? Like they all run well, and you have some enticement with Blaney and Bell. You got some good numbers. Okay, that's not the one I wouldn't touch. It's just, it's a difficult one to handicap. This is one that the odds are too tight. You're not getting a whole gain anywhere, and each guy I can barely separate. I mean, I can really dive deep into stats here and try to give you some numbers, but Jeff, it is the one. This is the one that's like, yeah, just nothing's enticing me. Nothing's making me look at Group D and say, ooh, I like that.
Right. I'm with you 100%.
Let's get into Group E then before we head to break. And Group E heads off with his last race at in his home state and technically his closest to home track. Kevin Harvick is your favorite at 240. Michael McDougal is 275. Martin Truex Jr., by the way, this is Group E. Martin Truex Jr., 280. And Denny Hamlin, 295. Jeff, Denny Hamlin's got 5 top 10s in the last 10 races just here. Let me tell you, Sonoma.
You're going to give me a plus 295 on a Group E on Denny Hamlin. I'm not walking to the betting counter. I'm sprinting to the betting counter on this one. So I am all in on Denny Hamlin on this group.
I mean, look, Martin Truex Jr., we've said, what have you done for me lately? And Sonoma, not one of his better, what have you done for me lately? He's road racing, kind of faded. But Denny Hamlin, I mean, goodness gracious. 295, a dog with Michael McDowell. No offense, Michael's a great road racer. Love Michael. Don't think I'm knocking Michael, but 295? I mean, come on.
Let me tell you, I was upset McDowell was in this group.
Yeah. I mean, McDowell was one of those guys on a road course. We always kind of go, all right, where's he at? You put him up against Truex and Denny Hamlin and Harvick, you're like, dang it. But Denny Hamlin, 295? That's a huge number.
The crazy thing is, we're going to see Group E with 4 great guys in it. We're going to go to Group F, and it's going to be like we should pick whoever loses out of the group. We'll talk about that, I guess, when we come back.
No, we got time. We don't have time right now. But you're right. Group F. Well, no, I got a stat for Group F. I got a stat for you.
Okay, is this your Earl Ross McNugget?
No, it's not that big. Just regular stats. All right, guys, we come back, Group F, and our picks.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Welcome back in, everybody. Final segment here on Gone Racing. And we're wrapping up our group matchups, and we just finished up with Group E, which we had kind of what we kind of figure is a lock right now. The whole Denny Hamlin at 295 in Group E, not Group A, not Group B, Group E. And then we're ending up with Group F, and Group F starts off with my off-road buddy Zane Smith at plus 250, Bubba Wallace at plus 250, Austin Dillon 295, and Ryan Preece 315. And Jeff, I promised you a stat right here. Now listen, you've already said that Austin is kind of my guy, right? I will admit I have media bias or non-media bias, but Austin Dillon's average finish 20.3 in the last 10 road races. The next closest is Bubba Wallace at 26.3, and then Ryan Preece is all the way down at 28.5, and Zane Smith, of course, only has in Cup Series competition 1 data point, so it's hard to, or sorry, he has no data points on road courses. So, Austin Dillon 295. I'm
with you. I like Austin Dillon here. First off, Bubba is very upfront about how much he dislikes racing on road courses. In fact, he got asked by a reporter one time what his favorite turn at Sonoma Raceway was. He said, the one I make leaving the racetrack.
Yeah.
Zane had a great run a couple of weeks ago, actually got a top 10. I don't know that I see that coming here at Sonoma. Austin Dillon, I think probably over the last 5-6 road course races has really improved his road racing ability. So I like Austin Dillon here. I'm with you.
Well, and that's where I was going is we've talked about it. He had like 3 races in a row that he kept getting career best finishes on road courses. So, this is definitely the right trend for him. And this is, I think, the right style of road course track for him. So I think that Austin, that he's got my Group F pick.
I agree.
All right. So we got Group F. We do have our winning manufacturer prop this week. And wow, do the odds makers believe very heavily in the Chevrolet drivers. Minus 165 on the Chevy today, 300 for Toyota and 350 for Ford. Motley, that 350 for Toyota or 300 for Toyota, you've been a big fan of, you mentioned him multiple times today, Tyler Reddick. I like that 300.
That has jumped out at me big time. I like that 300. You don't just get Tyler Reddick. You're also getting Martin Truex Jr., a 3-time winner here. You're getting Denny Hamlin. Oh, boy. And you mentioned yourself, Ty Gibbs, pretty good road course racer. Yeah, I kind of like those Toyotas.
Look, Chevys are the favorite for a reason. We absolutely understand that. But I do like that Toyota plus 300. That's a heck of a number right there for just a 3-man horse race. I mean, you're getting.
I'm with you.
All right, let's talk about last week. Last week we had, I would say, mixed bag of results, guys. Right? I mean, we had a couple. This is why it's betting. This is why it's called sports betting, right? We had some bets won, and then stuff at the end of the race changed things. All of us had some really close bad beats. Me and the pit crew, Wyatt, we had Truex over Larson. It was 3rd and 4th. We're like, come on, missed it by 1 spot.
And the worst part was Larson was running mid-30s at the first stage. And all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, look, he's second.
He's up.
How?
Yeah. The Hendrick cars were stinking, and then all of a sudden they come in and he beats us by 1. I had Keselowski right off the start. Keselowski has the bad day, and I'm thinking, it's done. And then at the end of the race, he finishes 1 spot behind Bowman to lose the group, and I'm like, I was that close.
That would have been the greatest.
Yeah. Although Motley has the other argument. Bubba Wallace was kicking our butt in that group until he wrecked with 4 to go.
Right. Speaking of Larson, Cliff Daniels, the changes that guy can make in that car from the start to the end. It reminds me of Rodney Childers 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Rodney used to be like that, and I don't know how kind of happened with that team, but Rodney was amazing. And now you see that with Cliff. He's just unbelievable.
Yeah, Harvick would be awful, and Rodney throw the kitchen sink at it in a race, and they'd come back and finish 2nd. It was like, what in the hell? But so Jeff, you did get Hamlin to Group B. I got Busch in Group C, and pit crew got McDowell in Group F. So we all had, we all was showing the negative numbers, but we had one good solid win to keep us close. So at least they were all good wins for us on the season.
And Brendan,
Yes,
you made the point earlier. You said getting Kyle Busch in a Group C at plus 285. How could anybody not pick that?
I did.
I'll give you credit for making the pick. You made the pick. It was a good call on your part.
Yeah. So that was too far down the list for me, and good returns on all of us, big numbers. So on the season though, of course, still somebody still holding the lead strong, but a battle for the mid-pack between Jeff and the pit crew.
Yeah, I suppose if either one of us had if pit crew or either one had any guts, we'd go for those 40-1 Denny Hamlin shots this week and see what happened. But
don't worry, come playoff time, that's when the big
that's when it matters.
Come.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Wyatt, but we don't get to reset the points like NASCAR does.
I know. I wish.
Regular season champ and playoff champ. Well, you never know. All right. Well, Wyatt, we start, of course, worst to first. So, Wyatt, lead the way, please.
All right. For the pit crew this week, we're going to go with Daniel Suarez to finish top 3 plus 450. We just felt, Suarez has been running really well as of lately and won here last year. Why not take a flyer on that? I love these big matchup numbers. Ross Chastain plus 140 over Chase Elliott. That's a really juicy number that you can't pass up. Tyler Reddick to win Group A plus 220. Austin Cindric, I think he's going to, they got to win to get in the chase, so I'm going to go with him in Group B. I think he's going to be really aggressive, plus 300. And Martin Truex Jr. to win Group E at plus 280.
All right. I like a couple of those. Mr. Motley, what say you today, sir?
Okay, I'm going to take 2 picks in the head-to-heads, and they are both going right against Chase Elliott. I'm going to go with Kyle Larson at plus 120 against Chase Elliott. I'm also going to agree with the pit crew and go Ross Chastain at plus 140 against Chase Elliott. Only 2 group picks for me this week. I'm going to go into Group B. I'm going to disagree with the pit crew here. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch in Group B. Then I'm going into Group E, again, against the pit crew. I'm going Denny Hamlin. You and I have really talked a lot about Denny. Love that. And I'm not going to leave plus 300 for Toyota dangling out there, knowing that I got Reddick, Truex, Hamlin, Bell, all those guys. Those are mine.
The dangling participle. He can't leave that dangling. Anybody remember what dangling? Can anybody give the definition of the dangling participle anymore since we left grade school? Anyone?
I really can't. Is it like a hanging Chad? I don't know.
Is this your Earl Ross nugget for the day?
No, I should have typed it in. I have Michael's computer. I'm sure it might be something he's already been learning in 6th grade.
We'll be getting tweets from English teachers
yes,
if any of them are listening.
The dangling participle. I just remember that. I remember there was something about it. Then.
Yeah.
I think you can't end a sentence on the word but or and or something like that. Isn't that what it is? Dangling participle?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. So my picks. You know what? I'm going to go sentimental, heart, and I'm going to start off. I cannot leave Kevin Harvick's last race in his home state. Kevin Harvick, top 3 plus 600. He's run too well there. He's going to have a lot of emotion, and Kevin is one of those guys that normally is able to kind of, when it's emotional time, Kevin's always been good at that. So I'm going Kevin Harvick. Then I am taking one of those head-to-heads, but I'm not taking the 2 that you guys took against Chase Elliott. I'm finishing off the other one. I'm taking Kyle Busch at 130. So that just too big of a head-to-head number with Kyle Busch right now as well as he's running. And then I'm going to stick with Kyle Busch in Group B. I'm taking him at 255. I think that, once again, I like who he's running up against. And then I'm finishing off in the 2 groups. Jeff, you and I, Group E, we're head-to-head. We're head-to-head with the pit crew. I love that 295 number on Denny Hamlin. And then I'm jumping into Group F. And it's not with my heart. That is with my head. That is a head pick, and that is Austin Dillon in Group F. I think that he's run well enough on road courses lately to not be Group F worthy. And the guys, it's not like Michael McDowell against him, which we would normally see McDowell in like a Group F. So I like the group he's against, and I'm picking him in a Group F.
And I'm going to tell you, I had him circled in Group F.
But the Toyota 300.
And the Toyota 300 just changed me. So I love your pick on Austin Dillon in Group F. If this was a week that we had 6 picks, that would be my 6th pick because I really, really do like Austin Dillon in Group F, and I'm sure he's going to win it since I scratched him out.
And of course, we don't have 6 picks. That's why I'm in the lead, and you guys aren't. I mean, ifs and buts for candy nuts. Oh, what a Merry Christmas it would be.
Yep. Remember our old Cleveland Browns coach named Sam Rutigliano? I got to know him well when he coached at Liberty University when I was a sports writer, and he loved that phrase. He would always say, ifs and buts for candy and nuts, every day would be Christmas. And he used to say that in like every press conference.
It's very true still to this day. Well, we got about a minute left, Mr. Motley. You are hanging out in Sonoma this weekend. You have a great time and hopefully have a great race. And please have a glass of wine for me before you leave there because we all know that is what Sonoma is famous for. Well,
I hope everybody will tune in. It's the last race of the year for Fox. So they're in their run at Sonoma this week. I love it up here. It's beautiful. We got to let everybody know, no show next week because it's an open date. Enjoy Happy Father's Day next week.
That's right. Happy Father's Day, all the fathers out there. And I'm going to take my 10-year-old son, who the race car driver, Michael and us, we're going to go to North Carolina. I'm going to North Carolina, if you believe that. I'm heading back to the South, going to go scuba diving, hanging out with my friends at Lake Norman Scuba this week, doing some scuba diving with Ryland and Michael. So we're going to have some fun trying to blow some bubbles.
All right, you guys have a good time, and we're going to hopefully have on a great race. Hey, first ever Xfinity Series race ever at Sonoma on Saturday.
Right.
So a nice doubleheader this weekend.
I forgot about that. Good luck to the Xfinity guys. Good luck to have fun at the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame banquet. And there's Grandpa. We turned it around in time for the checkered flag. Got Grandpa to end the show with today. Thanks, guys. We'll see you all next week.